Good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Pamela Thomas. Welcome to Online with the CMC, Cataloging Local Authors, Local History, and Genealogy. This morning, Vincent Andrzejewski is going to be our presenter. If you have questions, I'm going to be monitoring the chat box so I can ask him while he's doing the presentation. So Vince, it's all yours.
Good morning, everyone. This is my first time doing this, so bear with me. We're going to talk about cataloging local authors, local history, and genealogy. First off, what qualifies as a local author? And a local author is somebody that's significant, has a significant Illinois connection, such as an author born in Illinois. And some examples are Andrew Greeley, who was a religious writer, mystery writer, was born in Oak Park, Illinois in 1928. Stephen Ambrose, a noted historian author, born in Lovington, Illinois in 1936. And one I put up here because he's actually a recording artist. His name is Peter Brown, born in Blue Island, Illinois in 1953. This is one of his CDs that came out back in the day. It has been recently reissued. And this one's kind of hard to see, but as you read through the contents of what's on the CD, you'll see that Peter Brown either wrote or co-wrote all the songs on the CD, in addition to being the performer on the CD. So he would be considered a local author, and we would catalog his stuff for free in the CMC. So I threw this in here so that we could show you that, we don't always, we deal in more than just books. So it's like there's a lot of stuff that can be cataloged by the CMC. It just has to have that connection. Other times, local authors are considered people who spent part of their time in Illinois, were educated in Illinois, worked in Illinois. Some examples of that are Gwendolyn Brooks, who was born in Topeka, Kansas in 1917, who spent most of her life living in Chicago until she passed away in 2000. She's most noted for as being a poet and also a poet laureate of the United States. Another local author is Phil Donahue from the Phil Donahue Show, who was born in Dayton in 1935, produced his show in Chicago from 1974 to 1984, and then moved to New York City. Not only is he, like a television celebrity, he is also an author of an autobiography, so he would be considered a local author. Another local author is a lady named Carolyn Hester. Her current residence is Wynne, Arkansas, but she previously lived in Collinsville, Illinois. This is the cover of her book. This is author information that was listed in the book. Now, when you read this, there's nowhere in this description that shows that she has a local author connection. So the library that sent this in to be cataloged also sent us a copy of an obituary for her husband, which states in there that they lived in Collinsville and Maryville, Illinois. And it also says that, describes her name as Carolyn Rogers Hester. And the reason that's significant and important is because when you look in the authority file, you'll find a Carolyn Hester, but it's a singer, folk singer, and evidently when you do a little research, you'll find out that it's not the same Carolyn Hester. So for the purposes of cataloging this book, we entered the author's name as Carolyn Rogers Hester to differentiate her from other works by Carolyn Hester that are also in our catalog. Other local authors may be authors that live in a bordering state, but they participate in local library program. One such person is Jacqueline Brockert, who lives in Danville, Iowa, but has done programs for the Henderson County Library District in Biggsville, Illinois, which was 30 miles away. Because of this connection and stuff, we considered her books as a local author. This goes basically statewide. It encompasses people that may live in Mount Vernon, Indiana, Paducah, Kentucky, St. Louis, Missouri, Council Bluffs. No, not Council Bluffs. Sorry about that. Other places in Iowa that if they do programs for the library, that they can be considered a local author. Next up, we're going to talk about local history. Local history may include town ordinances, local government documents, town histories, school yearbooks, registers, church yearbooks, directories, registers, local business information, local disasters, county information, county fair information, plat books and maps located in Illinois. Basically anything that has a local connection to your community, we can catalog for you in the CMC. Local history may consist of a book, a map, a brochure, a photograph, a video recording, newspaper, oral history, sound recording, etc. Local history items may be single items or may be a collection of items that we would catalog as a group. The catalogers in CMC will assign appropriate subject headings. However, if you wish to highlight something specific in a subject heading, please advise when sending in for cataloging. That way we can see if we can actually find a particular type of subject heading that fits your needs. If not, we can also add something in the note field of the catalog record that you'll upload into the database so that you have that local designation. Oops, genealogy. Again, genealogy includes both Illinois and other areas of the globe. Information about families and their descendants are included in this category. Birth, marriage, death records are also included in genealogy, regardless of the location of the material covers. Books featuring coats of arms and family crests are also genealogical in nature, and we can catalog those also. This is an example of a book that I recently received to catalog. 5 Generations of Coils in Bound County, Illinois by David M. Wallet. He put it together in 1994, and it's actually typewritten pages in a 3-ring binder. When you look in the authority file, you see there's all kinds of Dave Walls. So trying to see if this person had an established authority record, you know, I had to go through quite a few of these. But also, it narrowed it down. There was a David M. Wall in the authority files, but this guy is associated with the Georgia Fire Academy, which made me think that this is not the same person. So when I start looking through the book, I actually found this notation in there that shows that we have a David Merle Wall, born 12/22/25. This is the author of the book right here. So we actually established the author field as David Muir Wall. We also put his birth and death date because I found an obituary form online. So we added those to the author field also, and we've gone from there. So he's established as David Muir Wall. Remember that the Cataloging Maintenance Center is available to assist your library with cataloging and cataloging questions. If you're unsure whether an item qualifies for CMC cataloging, please call us at 618-656-3216, extension 503, or email us at cmc@illinoisheartland.org. If anybody has any questions, now's the time. Thank you.
Hi, Vince. Thanks. This is Pam again. If you don't know where the chat box is, it should be down at the bottom middle of your screen. Just click on the chat. Or if you want to unmute yourself and ask your question verbally, you can certainly do that. Just don't forget to mute yourself again once you have finished asking your question and received an answer. We don't have any questions right now, Vince. We'll be posting the slide presentation as a PDF after this. And then hopefully by tomorrow, we'll have the link to the recording ready too. That's kind of not done by us, so we have to wait for somebody else to do that. So does anybody have any questions? And when Vince mentioned that the CMC does cataloging for free, so as long as it falls into our purview, we do cataloging free. So as long as it meets our parameters, so we do not charge. Okay, Connie has a question. What are the advantages and disadvantages of cataloging your genealogy collection? Ours is currently reference only.
Well, one big thing is, regardless if it's reference only, if you catalog it and it gets listed in the online database and uploaded to OCLC, anyone that may have a question could contact your library to see if there's information in there that they're looking for. You may be the only library around that has that information. So they may, request a copy of it or something like that. So that would be one of the advantages of cataloging your genealogy collection. And the only disadvantage to cataloging your collections is it may be unavailable for a week or two if you send it in to be cataloged. But that's really the only disadvantage I can think of cataloging your genealogy collection.
And the CMC doesn't care if your library circulates items or not. That isn't our concern. So if you have a collection that doesn't circulate, don't feel like you can't send it in for us to catalog just because of that. We've got another question from the RSA. They say, does the CMC annually release stats about how many items it has cataloged? Since we're in Rails RSA, we don't always read all the IHLS documents that may mention your stats. Your services is so valuable that seeing numbers would be helpful to share with our members. We're actually working on a flyer with our FY19 stats. So yes, we'll be releasing some stats.
I believe there are some stats in the annual reports that the CMC has submitted.
The grant.
But I don't know if they're broke out or if it's just all lumped together, because I didn't submit that report.
I can tell you that the brochure that we're working on is going to have it broke out as far as how many books, how many,
the format.
Yeah,
the different formats that we've done, and that will be available at conferences and whatnot. So
yeah, the RSA also wants to know if the flyer will be posted on the CMC website. Yes, we'll make sure that it's posted there. we're trying to make it colorful and factual all at the same time. Scott says, do you have any recommendations for surfacing a local collection? Any catalog record enhancements that can increase its visibility in a crowded catalog?
I'm not sure what you mean by surfacing.
Scott, can you elaborate a little bit by what you mean by surfacing a local collection? He says, yeah, like bringing it to the attention of patrons and users.
Well, we can catalog it, and I guess if you have a special collection that you have housed somewhere within your library, and you designate that in, I guess you would designate that in your call number or the location.
Or a local subject heading, maybe?
Yeah.
We could definitely add that.
I think some libraries do a special, like they'll do like an Excel or a Word document that they have a link to on their website that people can access, and then they can see what you specifically have in your library, so that they don't have to, search the catalog, the large catalog. They can, pinpoint exactly the record that, or the book that you have, and then search by that title or whatever. But I know that a lot of libraries do that.
Would you be talking like there's one library that has a like an ESL language collection, things like that?
I mean, like more like doing like a finding aid with all those items together,
right?
In one document.
Like they I guess they run a list or something of materials that are like in a certain collection or something.
Yes, yeah, you can do that.
Yes, this is Sherry. I know that that the Dixon Public Library has that on some of their things. They have a Lincoln Lincoln collection and a Ronald Reagan collection. So they do have some lists. So that, I mean, obviously the collection is out in the library, but they also have some items that are in the back that aren't accessible to the patrons, visibly, and they need to request them. So they do have a listing so that the library patrons know what items they have. So they do keep a running list of all the books in those like special collections.
Okay, so Scott, if that didn't answer your question, then just post more. Elizabeth Pratt says, once it's cataloged in Polaris, you can link to an item record set from your library's website. Oh, and Scott said thanks, so I guess we answered his question.
Okay, and the comment from Elizabeth is only related to people on Polaris.
Yeah, but I think other ILSs
may do the same thing.
Yeah, I'm sure they can. Okay, does anybody else have any questions either about today's topic or just questions about cataloging in general? And remember, you can either use the chat box or you can unmute yourself and ask your question verbally. Just don't forget to mute yourself after you've received an answer. Okay, so RSA says, does the CMC still do the on-site cataloging visits on a case-by-case basis, or is that part of your service no longer offered? No, we still offer that. Actually, Sherry drove up to Dixon a few weeks ago. So if you need us to do on-site visits, perhaps they won't happen in a day or two, but we can definitely accommodate that. Tracy Pearsall says, unrelated to genealogy, will there be any sessions on how to catalog and archive? I have some collections that I would like to catalog in my library.
Are you talking like paintings or artwork and
Yeah, Tracy, could you
are
expand on that a little, please? We are doing a rare books or rare book and other materials, right, in
right
January,
in January?
if that's what you're talking about, Tracy. So Tracy says, for example, I have a set of butterfly transfer prints collections of objects, ephemera, etc.
Okay. That's something we would probably have to um, maybe come pay a visit and see what all you have to figure out how we would go about cataloging your special collection of stuff um, in the museum. So that's something we may have to make further arrangements for to determine if we could catalog it or not.
Or Tracy, were you just wanting advice on how to catalog them yourself? But you can contact us by email or phone too if you've got questions about that. Tracy said, I can do the cataloging. I would just like to know the best way to go about it. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, just contact us and we can help you with that.
We
And then,
okay.
Can provide some examples of ones that have been done already for like Gert's Education Center.
Right. Yeah, because sometimes it's nice to look at examples. So Scott says, also unrelated to genealogy, does CMC always require the full materials be sent, or are you able to work off of photocopies of key parts, or do you ever do on-site work if materials are delicate? All of the above.
Normally we require that you send it in,
Yeah,
because that way it's like we have it, we know what we're cataloging. If we have to look through it to find something, we can do that. If the material is really, really, really delicate and it's like it falls apart when you pick it up, we may be able to make an arrangement to come and catalog it at your library. I think, if a material is that delicate, you putting it on a copy machine is probably going to damage it further.
Sure.
So that I would not, really suggest. And we do like to have the actual original item, because sometimes, you'll get one page copied where you think it's all the information you need, and you turn it over a couple pages later, you find something else that's related to the publishing information or whatever. So we prefer the actual item itself.
Right. And sometimes photocopies are not always the
Yeah.
best either. But also if you had like a multi-volume set or something, then typically we just request that you send in the first and last volumes, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Like yearbook stuff like that.
Yeah, but that's only if the title hasn't changed.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, if there's in the run that there's been a title change or something drastic changes, then we would need
other volumes.
Those, we would need each one where there was a change.
In yearbook, like school yearbooks, if you have a run of them, we prefer the first one, and it's like if that was all black and white until say like 1960, you started color, then that one, or if the size significantly changed, or the binding or whatever, then we would need those too.
Yep. Okay, so are there any other questions, either about today's topic or just general cataloging questions? But these are good questions, so thanks for asking them. Remember, you can use your chat box, or you can unmute yourself and verbally ask your question. Okay, well, if there aren't any other questions, then I would like to thank everybody for attending. And again, so Elizabeth Pratt says, is the rare item session on the calendar already? Yes, and it's also on the CMC website. Yes. Okay, if there really aren't any more questions, thanks for attending. Tracy, do we need to submit a CE form? Shelley, do they?
No, if they had their full names and library shown,
And we're registered in L2, then they're good?
right,
Okay.
then we can go ahead and add their cataloging CE for the share members.
Yes. That's why at the beginning I said if you could just log in with your full name, that would help me with that. Do we catalog foreign collections? Sherry, do we?
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
I can, depending on what it is, it may take a while. Right now I have about 10 or 12 Arabic books that I've had for probably about a month, and the only reason I haven't cataloged them is because I need help with them, and so I'm going to a relative who speaks Arabic next week for her to help me with them. But we can, we'll always do our best to do the foreign language collections. Some are fairly easy: the Spanish, the French, those languages, the German. It gets a little harder when you get into the Chinese, Japanese. I have done Bulgarian. So I would love to say that the turnaround is the same on those, but it probably isn't, because we need to really work hard on them, and it takes a while to figure them out. So maybe the turnaround time might be, closer to a month on those, but we can definitely do them.
Yep. Okay, are there any other questions? And I will post the PDF of the slides with the notes right after this on L2. And then the rest of our Online with the CMC sessions are in L2 as well as on our Online with the CMC page through the IHLS website. Okay, well, thanks for attending, and thanks, Vince, for giving us a great presentation. And hopefully
Thank you.
we can all
Have a good day, everybody.
register for our next ones. Thank you.